On the second channel, I recently covered an incredible open source alternative to Manus, and honestly, I think it's on par with the next gen deep agents that we've showcased on this channel, like GenSpark AI, as well as Manus. But here's the twist, it's completely free, fully local, and open to anyone. Allow me to introduce Sunno AI, your new AI assistant built for real-world productivity. Suna is an open source all-in-one agent that helps you tackle tasks like research, data analysis, and daily workflows all through natural language conversation. It's powerful, intuitive, and it's designed to truly understand what you need. And it actually focuses on delivering the results that you ask for. If you're looking for a free local deep agent, this is the one, and this is something that we're going to be showcasing throughout today's video. Now, in that video I had posted on the second channel, I didn't actually showcase how to install this locally, which is why we're back to showcase how you can set this up on your local computer. Now, you may wonder, how does this actually function and how is it open source? Well, there's 4 key components to make this a fully functional, fully engineered AI agent. You have first the Backend API, which is a Python fast API, and it is powering the REST endpoints, thread management, and the large language model integrations. You have the frontend, which is with Next.js and React. There's an agent Docker, where it runs an isolated Docker environment equipped with browser automation, a code interpreter, and much more. And then afterwards, you have Supabase as the database that handles everything from authentication, user management, and conversation history. And guys, just to give you an idea of what this is capable of doing, you can see that this is an example of a prompt that was sent in to Suna, where it's asking it to analyze the market for the next company in the healthcare industry located in UK, and it's asking to give major players their market size, strengths, as well as weaknesses. So basically doing a SWOT analysis, and it is asking it to generate a full-on PDF on this market analysis. And you can see that the agent works on scouring the web to find multiple different sources. It has a web browser agent built in to analyze different websites. So you can see right now it is focusing on this task, and over the planning process as well as the execution process, you'll see all the way at the end that it works on generating a PDF. It also allows you to download all of these things. Now, this is with the web-based application, which I believe is paid, but if you are to use the local version, it's going to be completely for free, as you're bringing your own model and you're locally running all of this. Here is actually a personal example of what I had created in my last run, and this is where I asked it to create a dashboard that gives me an analysis on my YouTube channel called World of AI. I simply provided the link and it was able to create a full-on dashboard for me. And this is essentially the dashboard it was capable of creating. It gives you analysis of the amount of videos I have, which is super accurate, and it was able to scrape all the contents thanks to the browser agent that was deployed from Suna. And you can see it generates different charts and it accurately displays all the data for you in this case. And this was all done with a single prompt that was sent in, which is kind of impressive to see with the capabilities that you see with an open source AI agent like Suna. Before we get started, I just want to mention that you should definitely go ahead and subscribe to the World of AI newsletter. I'm constantly posting different newsletters on a weekly basis, so this is where you can easily get up-to-date knowledge about what is happening in the AI space. So definitely go ahead and subscribe, as this is completely for free. So now that we know what Suna is about, we're going to showcase how you can run this locally and set this all up. You're going to first need to make sure that you have the requirements fulfilled. You need to make sure that you have a Supabase project, which you can set up completely for free. And then you need to install the Supabase CLI onto your computer, and you can install this for whatever operating system you have. Now, I also want to note is that you can install this using Docker, which is probably the easiest way possible, but you can go ahead and set up all of these prerequisites which they request you to do, like setting up the Supabase project for the database and authentication, Redis for the database for caching and session management, Daytona for the sandbox and for secure agent execution, having Python 3.11 for the API backend, and then you can select any sort of large language model provider from Anthropic or OpenAI, or even something like Gemini 2.5 Pro. You can even set up Ollama. It's super easy to configure on your own. Then you can use Tavli API for enhanced search capabilities, which is optional. and then Firecrawl for web scraping capabilities. Also, make sure that you have Git installed and have an IDE like VS Code so that you can go ahead and easily configure all the APIs. Now, you can also run this with Docker Compose, which is an alternative way for you to set this up, and it's something that I'm going to be using throughout today's video, which makes this whole process super easy. So if you do not have Docker, go ahead and download Docker Desktop for your operating system. So now that we have all this fulfilled, let's go ahead and work on installing this. So I'm on Windows, so if you're following through, make sure you use the requirements that is best fit for your operating system. So what I'm going to be doing is cloning this with WSL. So go ahead and open up the WSL command prompt, and then what you want to do is then clone the repository of Suna. So paste in this link and it will clone the GitHub repository for Suna. And once that's finished doing that, you want to then go over to the Suna directory by typing in cd Suna, and that's by simply going in and pasting in cd Suna within the terminal. Once that is done, you want to then configure the backend, and that's by typing in cd backend. And now what you want to do is create the backend configurations by creating the env file. So I've now created the env file, and I'm going to go ahead and open this up within my IDE. Now what you got to do is go ahead and fill in all of the different requirements. So this is where you need to provide your Supabase database, and this is by simply going ahead and creating a new project and configuring all the different components or variables that are needed to be filled out. The large language model, all of these different components, go ahead and fill it out. Certain things are optional like Tavly as well as Firecrawl, but I highly recommend that you go ahead and paste this in because it makes this whole process so much better whenever you're using Suna AI. The next step is super simple, and that's obviously going back to the prerequisite, and that is to set up your Supabase CLI. You can do this quite easily by following through the tutorial for whatever operating system you have. Simply going ahead and installing whatever command that they have pasted over here, and you can easily set this up. Then what you need to do is set up the Supabase database by simply going ahead and logging in the Supabase CLI. I've already done this and I don't want to showcase my credentials, so to do so, you just simply copy this, paste this into your command prompt. Then you want to link your project, so select the project for the Supabase login, and then you want to then push the database migration, and this is with this command over here. And once you have executed all this, we can then move on to the next step. Now next, you want to go back into the front-end environment file, and that's by simply typing in cd:/frontend. So you want to go back into the front-end directory, and what you want to do is copy and paste in this command cp space .env.example space .env.local, and this is where we're going to set up the env file for the front end. So now what we can do is go ahead and open up this new env file that we have set over here. Then you want to simply go ahead and open up the front end folder, and then you want to go ahead and open up this new local environment file that we had created, and you want to go and paste in all of the different requirements, the variables that are needed for this folder, like the Supabase URL, Supabase anonymous key, the backend URL, and etc. So go ahead and paste in everything. Once done, click on File and click on Save. Afterwards, you just need to simply install the dependencies, and there's two options like I mentioned at the start. You can either use Docker Compose, or you can install the dependencies with the following commands. Simply going into the front end, installing the dependencies with the npm command, going into the backend then afterwards and installing the requirements, and then you can start up the application with the following command by going ahead and running the npm run dev command, and in another terminal running the backend at the same time simultaneously to have this fully functional. And then you will be able to run Sunno locally onto your computer with the UI. You also have the ability to use this alternative method, which is super simple. After you have set your backend configurations, you can simply go ahead and first export your GitHub repository. Afterwards, you want to then use the composer command, which is super simple, and then you can build the images with the docker compose up command, and then you can access it within your local host. And now there we go. Within our local host, we can now access Suna, and then we can request it to do anything similar to how you would with Manus. So here's a prompt that I'm going to send in. I'm going to ask it to do a market analysis on the Tesla stock and then create a dashboard showcasing the findings. So you can see right away it is going to take on my prompt, and it's gonna work on creating a plan first with the AI agents. This is where the different AI agents that are being deployed for this task will work on creating a structure for this plan. You can see it's going to start off with the data collection. This is where it's going to work on using the Tavly API to go over and search for any sort of web sources that might be relevant for this task. And then it's going to gather all the information that is necessary. So let's see what it actually ends up executing for us. Now, it looks like it is using different sorts of techniques to extract data. It is using Firecrawl, and it was able to use the browser agent to scrape through all the contents, and you can see the output of whatever it had found on the right hand side. And here you have it. This is the Tesla stock analysis dashboard that it had developed, and it does look really insightful, and it was capable of doing a pretty good job in generating the stock. You can see, or the stock graph, you can see there's multiple different Plotly functionalities built within this dashboard. You can also see how well it did in terms of displaying all the key insights as well as analysis, the technical outlook, the midterm, out long term, as well as the short term. And overall, it talks about a good summary of what this stock is about. And this was all done within a couple of minutes. In summary, we finally have a pretty competent Manus alternative that has a UI, and it is open source. It is pretty great to see, and I hope you found this video to be helpful. If you did, please leave a like. I'll leave all these links in the description below so that you can easily get started. If you want me to make another video, please let me know, so then I can definitely focus on making alternative videos showcasing what you can do with Suna. But with that thought, guys, thank you guys so much for watching. Subscribe to the second channel. Follow me on the newsletter, join our Discord, make sure you follow me on the Twitter page, and lastly, make sure you guys subscribe, turn on the notification bell, like this video, and please take a look at our previous videos because there's a lot of content that you will truly benefit from. But with that thought, guys, have an amazing day, spread positivity, and I'll see you guys fairly shortly. Peace out, fellas.